Good morning, guys. I am Patty Elhoff. I am the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, several online retailers. And today I'd like to show you how we're going to finish this table with some acrylic paint and decoupage, but we will be using fabric to decoupage it. You can see this thing has seen better days. It's from 77, 78, somewhere in there. It belonged to my friend Janet. Hey, Jan. Here is the list of ingredients that we're going to be using: fabric, sandpaper, hot glue gun, or decoupage glue, braided ribbon, acrylic paint, pour on, sponge brushes, fabric scissors, protective cover, and I'll explain a little bit about that later. It's just something to put over this piece when you're done with it. You will probably want a drop cloth under there. I'm not working outside today because it's going to reach 90 degrees. We're in the middle of August and it's going to be a humid day, and that's not optimum for painting. That piece on the bottom there, that I already took that out. I don't know how it's staying in. I got another piece of hardware for that. You would have to remove any hardware that you have, and I sanded this really heavily. You can see it's a mess, and I will first paint this, and I'm going to paint the sides and the front black, and it's going to match my fabric. So for now, you just want to make sure everything's sanded and painted. That top piece is where we're going to put the fabric, and that top piece alone. So if your piece is light enough up there, the color, you don't have to worry about painting it. But if it's a little darker, just lay your fabric over it and see if you could see the color through it. You don't want too thick of a fabric. Those little small squares that they sell in the fabric stores are the perfect thickness, but you would need to measure your table and know how much you'll need. I also am using this braided ribbon to go around the whole circumference of the top, so I had to measure that too to make sure I had enough. So I'm going to paint this. I will be putting a drop cloth down. I'll paint this and then I'll come right back. This is why you might need your cloth scissors. I had this cut a little larger than what I really needed because I knew I might get the dimensions wrong or I might make a mistake somewhere. I actually got extra because I love the fabric so much. Isn't that pretty? And I like that it's going to look really nice with this black surface. It's really hard to cut a perfectly straight line. That's the reason why I also mentioned this braided ribbon. So I got, at the same time I got the fabric, in order to match it, I got this braided ribbon, because what I'm going to do is go along the edge. After I decoupage, I'm going to go along the edge here and cover up any scrappy pieces. That's why I'll be using the Fabri-Tac. You'll want to cut this to the measurements you want. I may want to center it a little differently. You may want to center your piece differently. Depends. You might be working with a plain piece of fabric, patterned, what have you. This opens up a whole new world of what else you can do with your furniture. If you've got a desk or something that's got a bad scratch or a stain or a mark, or if you find something at a flea market that you just love the shape of, but it's a mess, this is a big, big help. And it'll go a long way in sparking a lot of ideas. I am going to just trim up this little bit of an edge over here and then start to decoupage. This has a ridge right here, and I'm going to take a pencil and just kind of lightly go over where that ridge is, and I'll be able to cut a semi-decent line. Without this, I would make all kinds of S-cuts. I just can't seem to keep a straight line. I'm going to take my decoupage glue and make sure I have this on here where I want it. I did tell someone earlier that they should probably wash and dry this fabric. Just make sure you don't use any fabric softener in the wash or dryer sheets. But I have experimented with just buying it from the fabric store and putting it on, and it's worked just fine. So place some decoupage glue down where you're going to start. We'll work in sections at a time. You can see I went pretty heavy with that decoupage glue. There's a reason for that. As you press this down to get any wrinkles or air bubbles out, what also happens is that decoupage glue comes up through, you can see here, it comes up through the fabric, which is what we want. And you can pull on it a little bit if you've got any wrinkles or globs. And this edge is looking a little wrinkly, which is why I have that braided ribbon, because that's going to cover that up and it'll be a nice clean edge. There's our finished project. It's the following day. There's the nice rich gloss on the top. My name is Patio Elf on YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please ask any questions that you may have of me. I'll be happy to help you out. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did. Bye-bye.